Hey folks, today I come at you from a different angle in my room. I'm not standing in front of an aquarium because today it's all about you and your aquariums. I sent out a message the other day in a short video saying, hey, why don't you show me your tanks? I'd like to show them off on the channel. And my response was unbelievable. There were so many emails. I'm going to do as best I can to get through as many as I can today. That's all coming up right after this. Hey YouTube, this is Pecktec. I did a call out last week. I was looking for an idea for a video, and a lot of you had suggested, hey, you should show some of your viewers tanks. So I did a call out and I said, hey, send me some pictures of your tanks and your social media if you want to share that, a place where maybe someone could see more of your work. I ended up having to unlist it publicly within about 3 hours because my email box was just like running over. I'd intended to do one episode of this, but this might stretch into a couple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make this no longer than 20 minutes. But I'm going to get through as many of these as I can, and then there probably will be a part 2. Maybe I can make this kind of a weekly thing until I get through these, and then I'll submit for some more. So you guys seem to like it, and I want to do stuff that you like to see. So if you like this type of video, this is something you really enjoy, please let me know with a thumbs up and a comment. Alright, so I'm going to jump right into my email and we'll talk about the first one. Okay, right off the bat, I'm going to totally butcher your names, and I'm truly sorry. This is my shortcoming, not me making fun of your names. So, Wisdom sent me a real nice picture of a bow front tank. And, oh, it's got lots of angels in it. Lots of Cory cats. This one looks like Harlequin Rasboras and a discus, too. Wow. Really a lot going on in this tank. I'm not sure how big it is. I can't tell with the discus. But a lot of these seem like they're not mature fish. I'm not sure how big this is. It looks like it could be probably a fairly large one, but I'd say if those fish mature in there, you're going to need a bigger tank eventually. Plant lot-wise, it looks really pretty. Really well balanced. I love a lot of the stuff you got going on there, the moss and the wood. Really, really gorgeous tank and pretty fish too. I like it. This next one is from Jennifer Long. First 65-gallon Moomba tank. The second is a 35-gallon nano tank, and the third is a 20-gallon long tank. So I sent in a request for pictures, and a lot of people sent me all their tanks. I'll be spending markedly less time on the ones with like multiple tanks, but I would like to take a look at all of them. Yeah, this first one looks really pretty. Really well planted, lots of cichlids. Nice. And the second one here looks like it's got a bunch of maybe neon tetras. Maybe a mix of neons and cardinals. Really, really cool plants there. I like the different textures of plants that you have going in this one. Looks like a little crinium maybe at the bottom there. Very nice. And the last one, oh, it's kind of dark and mysterious. I like how you've got like mainly one big plant in there. That could have a really great effect. It looks like there's a betta in there. They love like a big bushy plant that they can kind of go rest in. So that's another great tank. Thank you very much. The next one is from Nicholas. My name is Nick. Not really on social media. I started this tank a few years ago when I found your channel. Oh, it looks like a spec 5-gallon. And he's got what looks like the beginning and then the more recent version of this tank. A little bit of an evolution in there. Looks like you've got a bristlenose pleco. That'll like a baby one. That'll be good while he's a baby, but you'll probably want to find a bigger tank for him eventually. I like the whimsy with the bridge and stuff. It looks like Val perhaps in the background. That might get a little too big for the spec 5-gallon. It's a neat plant and it looks really cool, but I don't think you can like trim it at the top. Maybe you can. I can't remember now off the top of my head. That gets a little big for the 5-gallon, but I think it looks really nice right now. I like the inclusion of that kind of red plant in the middle, and just a big bush of moss there on the side really fills it in. Very cool. Thank you, Nick. Fishkeeper Cole. Hey Sean, my name is Cole, and this is my 9-gallon Fluval Flex. I recently set up Instagram as Tachuna. Could you give me some plant recommendations for this tank? Seems a little bare to me. I don't know what to fill it up with. Let's take a look. It looks like you got some narrow leaf Java fern. Oh, I have that exact same ornament. It broke in half, and it's like in the back of my 27-gallon, but that's funny. Yeah, I see what you mean. You've got some stem plants in there. And stem plants, they don't fill up a lot of space. But what you do is you get more stem plants. Or you take those, you patiently wait for them to get to a certain length, you cut them in half, and you put them in there again. Some Rotalia would probably be good. Get a big handful of that. You can grow that up, cut it in half, replant it, grow all of it up, cut it in half, replant it, and eventually you have a really full aquarium. And I think the 9-gallon Flex would probably work pretty well for that. Looks good so far though. It's a great start, and I think it'll look cool with a few more plants in there, especially. You can probably get the broader leaf Java fern and stuff like that. You can get that in big clumps and throw that here and there, somewhere in there. But if you really like the stem plants, I would try some Rotalia. Edward Taylor. Just wanted to say hi and thank you for helping me through quarantine. Joined the stream yesterday. Big fan. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't schedule or have a set schedule for my live stream, so the best way to catch me is to ding that bell. I know every YouTuber says that, but if you want to catch me on there, that's the best way to do it. Or if you want to be first on a video, like for some reason there's a huge competition for right now. Very neat aquarium. I like how it's almost like it's kind of plant messy. Like you've got a lot of different kinds of plants growing. It looks like it looks really actually pretty natural this way. I think once some of these things start to kind of grow out and get a little taller, it's going to look really neat in there. And I like how the wood's kind of like cresting the water there too, so it gives the impression that it keeps going and stuff. I like doing that. I have a hard time with it because I use this looks like a rimless tank with no lid. I tend to put a lot of lids on mine to fight evaporation and to keep the humidity down, especially in this room with all these board games. Yeah, that looks really cool. Blake, please rate, advice, ever, no feelings hurt, blah blah blah. Okay, let's take a look here. 9-gallon Flex. I've been really tempted by the 9-gallon Flex. I might have to get a smaller one and play with it. Hey, it looks pretty neat. Looks pretty neat. You got some Miramo balls. I like the different textures of plant leaves. I think that's it adds a lot of interest to have like the different textured leaves and stuff. Oh, that is a gorgeous Hillstream Loach. That makes me want a Hillstream Loach. Those are really pretty. Usually they like a lot of water flow and stuff, so you might need to add some more water flow to really make him happy in there. How neat. I'm not going to critique like stocking choices and stuff. Like he's obviously listed a bunch of fish and things. I think that a lot of people have different scenarios and stuff. It looks like you've got something propped under your lid, maybe more light. Maybe an extra light for that thing. You can always do what I do. You get a piece of glass cut that fits the top and then put like a stronger light up on top if you really want to grow some extra plants in there. I'm not sure how the 9-gallon does versus the 15, but the 15-gallon light was not very strong. Donkey Gamer just became my friend on Twitter, and he sent me quite a lot of information here. Let me take a minute and look through it. So he's got a 15-gallon, a 55-gallon, and a 29-gallon turtle tank. The 15-gallon, it's a tall tank, like a column tank, and it looks like he's got a a really nice looking angelfish in there. Probably growing it out a little bit. You're a big fan of the Val, I see. That's cool. You got the little sponge filter kind of hidden in the grass in the back there. You know, tanks like this are super simple to keep and can be easily appreciated. I think it looks good. You've got the angel and a turtle together. So I'm not sure, how does that work for you? I'm not sure how I would not feel safe doing that just because the turtles are so messy and they tend to eat fish. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know anything about turtles, and I'm not placing any judgment on you. But I would wonder. Oh, and you've got it looks like your 55 is a blackwater tank with some discus in there. Wow. That looks cool. I'm curious to know what your friends say when they come over. Are they like, ew, that water's dirty, but the fish are really beautiful? I bet the discus really love it in there. A good tan. I mean, that's probably the reason they're so brightly colored is because they're in these areas where the water's thick and murky and dark. Really pretty fish, really interesting blackwater tank. Something I've yet to even really achieve. And here we got one from Maggie. Recently discovered your channel, amazed by it, and watched good portions of your videos already. Oh, thanks, Maggie. Maggie actually wrote me kind of a nice letter here, and I really appreciate it. This tank is mostly used for shrimp, maybe one snail or fish. I'm excited with decorative shrimp and want to add floating plants as well. So maybe salvinia or mosquito fern. Maggie's got a fluval spec 5-gallon. And it looks like she's recently planted it, and you're probably off to a good start. It looks like it'll be really pretty actually when that grows out. Lots of neat stuff. I really like your choice of rocks in here. Are really neat. It looks like you've got kind of two different types of rocks, which sometimes look funny, but once the plants grow in, yeah, I think it'll look good. Something that I do that kind of adds pop to my 5-gallon specs especially is I like to add a black background. I don't always do that, but sometimes I do that just to kind of make it really makes everything in the foreground really stand out. It kind of to have a nice matte black background, and they're really cheap to put in. So if I was going to do something a little different with that, that's probably what I would do. But it looks cool, and I think your shrimp are going to look neat hanging out in there. I've actually been experimenting with a new floating plant called a red root floater. I've been propagating those. I actually just handed some to a visitor that you'll learn about this Sunday. I'll tease that at the end of this video. Thanks, Maggie. Cool tank. And I got one from Lucas. Now, Lucas, I think I've seen this aquarium before because it is very, very memorable. It's a 600-liter aquarium. How many gallons is 600 liters? That's 158 gallons to my American friends, or whoever listens with imperial measurements. I think Lucas sent me a picture of himself wearing a Pecktec shirt last year at some point, because I know I've seen this tank before. This may be one of the most impressive tanks I've seen. Like, it is simply incredible. Wow. Lots of rainbows in there. Really interesting. The lights across the front are kind of a little strange. Like, I'm not sure why you made that choice, Lucas, but because it looks really great without the lights in the front. I guess it adds some pizzazz at night. But man, it looks really, really gorgeous. Very good job. Wow. Neat tank. I'd love to do one of those here. I don't have a wall that would fit on. Or maybe I do, and I just need to reevaluate my priorities. We keep putting these stupid windows in. Without a window, I could probably make it happen. Maybe on the other wall I could do that. Boy, that'd be a big tank for upstairs, though. Much too big for over my garage. Show me your tank response. Ooh, this looks like a freshly planted tank. I say that because it's quite foggy inside there, and I know that fog all too well. A really pretty rimless tank. Lots of good plants in there, and there's the video. Let's take a quick look at the video. Thank you very much, Melody. I appreciate it. And we have another email here. This is from Assad. Oh my gosh. That is a gorgeous tank. How big is that? He says it's a 20 long. Those are some big fish for a 20 long. I only see 2 of them, and the tank is gorgeous. First of all, the colors and the different textures in there are amazing. It's a really, really pretty tank. I don't know how long I would keep adult angels in it, but I'm not seeing it. And anybody can clean up a tank for a picture, so maybe he has terrible algae problems other times. But as of right now, in this photograph, boy, that is gorgeous. Gorgeous. He threw in a bunch of details too. I'm going to copy paste those in somewhere on the screen too. I'm definitely not going to sit and read them all. And a lot of you, you sent some real, some of these are pages and pages long of descriptions and your stocking choices and everything else. I have sat and read most of them. On the day when this was published, I got through about 50 of them, and then I was just like, okay, I can't read anymore. And since then, I've gone back and marked all these emails so I can talk about it now. And I've sat and I've read most of these descriptions. What I'm going to do, the ones I haven't read, I'll take a quick look and I'll edit it out. Here's an email from Karsten. Here's some pics of my 140 aquarium. Wow, really nice. That wood's so dramatic. I like all the drama you've got in the wood there. Looks like you got some guppies. I don't see many fish. I see a guppy in there. Oh, I see a rummy-nosed tetra in this picture. Really neat. Really neat. I wonder if it's a freshly planted tank too. Because some of the plants don't seem like... some of these plants seem like they'd be bigger. Very, very cool looking tank though. Here's one from Chunny Bunny. I don't know what they didn't list their name there. 5-gallon beta tank from my boy Jupiter. I'm having a bit of trouble with Java Fern turning brown and mushy. Any advice? Oh, I wish I knew how to grow Java Fern, the easy plant that I can't grow. I grow it okay, but I don't have any particular, I've grown it a number of different ways, and it hasn't been extremely similar in any particular way that I've done it. This looks like a cool betta tank though. Wow. He looks happy in there too. Lots and lots of shade from your plants at the top. It kind of looks like frog bit, but to me every plant now is frog bit. I'm obsessed with it. Your Java Fern doesn't look too bad. You know, what you might want to try is some iron, ferts with some iron in it. I use Flourish iron quite a bit. It seems to help a lot. Our next email is from Sweetwater Girls, and they are on Instagram as Sweetwater Girls. All right, so take a look at this first tank here. Looks pretty neat. I think the all-black substrate sometimes looks pretty cool, but you don't have a lot of plants and a lot of stuff going on in the background. Again, I think a black background will make all your aquascaping and your any plants that you put in there really pop. It also hides electrical cords and filter equipment and stuff like that. It would probably benefit from a black background. And the top, you've got a lot of black substrate. You might want to, what I like to do is I like to take like some sort of gravel mix that sort of matches the other stones in there and just kind of sprinkle it in. Especially until my plants start to grow, I think it just kind of helps break up all the darkness. Looking at the next tank, again, pretty much the same advice, although I like the sand a little bit better. Like I can look at like large expanses of sand without feeling like it needs something. Black is kind of the opposite for me, although I tried to kind of fight that a little bit. Looks like you got some stem plants growing. Like I said before to someone else, just keep trimming those stem plants and replanting them and trimming them and replanting them, and you'll fill up that aquarium really soon. And what's cool with stem plants too is there's a lot of varieties of them. There's a lot of different ones. So if you like to get different textures of leaves and different colors, it's the easiest way to put red plants in your aquarium. Looking here at this last picture is really pretty lush. Wow. It's hard to tell what size tank this is because the stems don't look very tall, but boy, there's a lot of color and texture in here. It looks really, really neat. Nice and full. And see with the carpet like that, you know, once the carpet starts to carpet out, it covers that black area. In the beginning, though, it can look kind of stark and stuff, so I like to mix it up a little bit. They sent a lot of pictures. Okay, so this last one, not a lot of plants or anything. We got a few here and there, but man, those sticks coming out of the top of it are really interesting. I think that's pretty neat. It almost looks like they're kind of tied to the top there. You can't see the top of the aquarium too well, so I'm not sure. It looks like they might have been propped there, maybe trimmed right at the top. Pretty neat. This next one's from Christopher. I'd love your advice on my aquarium. It's actually a 9-gallon glass bowl. It's only been set up for a week. And he sent a video. Wow, that's really cool. The trick of the bowls is just to keep up with those water changes. Keeping the plants trimmed and stuff. Personally, I probably wouldn't have gone with any stem plants in there. It looks like you've got a few stem plants in there. A couple of those plants in there are actually pretty aggressive. They'll probably grow all over the place. Hopefully it's not too much of a pain to maintain it. You got some stuff growing on top too. I think it's going to be a really pretty bowl. I don't know how long it's going to last for you. I'll be interested to know. So please write back and let me know how it's doing in a couple of months. But thanks for the submission, Christopher. I appreciate it. My next one's from Jan. She's from Durham in the UK. I'm going to take a second and read what she says. Oh, this is really interesting. Okay, let's take a look at this tank. They say no CO2, but easy plants, as you can see. Weekly ferts, lights, 2 workshop lights for 600K that they made themselves. Wanted to show that even low-tech budget tanks can look good. Wow. They are on Instagram under escape _ something I'm not even going to try to pronounce, but there'll be a link. Well, here it is. Also, anybody that shares with me their YouTube page or Instagram or whatever, I'm going to put it down below. I'll probably have to number all these too. Future Sean, remember to number all these aquariums. So as I'm numbering all these, I'll be sure to put I'll put the number and then whatever they've listed as their social media down in the description below too. Really, really cool tanks. Very simple, very beautiful tanks. Very powerful looking too. Wow. Those shop lights work amazing. The trouble with like the fluorescent shop lights and stuff like that is they only last about a year, but they grow plants better than almost anything else. I've been super tempted to kind of switch back from LEDs to those to the fluorescent lights, which always seem to work better. Thanks, Jan. I appreciate that. Moving on. It's actually been quite a while. I think I'm about halfway through these. I'm going to do a couple more though. Marlon, hello sir. Enjoy watching your content. Thank you for providing the opportunity to share our tanks. Marlon. All right, let's take a look. Looks cool. It kind of looks like maybe a 55 there, and the next one, that sort of looks like one of those rounded corners on the flora, but it might be something else. And another one with some big cichlids in there. How do those plants hold up with those big fish in there? That's what I want to know, Marlon. I see some pothos growing out the top. That's definitely something you can do. What is that like? It looks like pennywort or something in the corner of that last one. This middle one here with the tank with the rounded corners looks awesome. That looks really cool. I like how jungled out. It looks. That's a big preference of mine. I just think it's neat. Oh, and I see shrimp. Are those orange shrimp? My orange shrimp have been breeding. I'm so happy too. I can't believe it. I'm so happy because they cost me a lot of money. That looks cool, man. I love it. This tank at the top too. Wow, gorgeous big rainbows. I'm having trouble like telling what the scale is of it. Okay, I'm looking at your Rotalia, and I'm guessing it's a 55. I can almost guess by like the common plants and stuff. Good mixture of plants across the bottom. Again, lots and lots of textures. Looks like you got a lily coming up there. Some big rainbows. Great tanks, Marlon. Thanks for sharing. Option Master. All right, so Option Master sent me quite a few photos here. And let's take a quick look. Like, oh, wow, this looks like a compilation of every aquarium. Very neat. Definitely a multi-tank syndrome sufferer here. Feel you, man. I like how you got the flex kind of stacked up on top of this other tank. That's neat. Now, what I want to know is how you did that. Like, what's behind that other tank? Did you make yourself a wood stand to make it, like, it looks like it's against the wall. How'd you do that? And some of the other tanks here, it looks like you've got a Logitech cam set up on there. So are you able to like tune into this aquarium and watch it anywhere? I thought about doing that. I have the exact same camera, that webcam that you've got in this last picture. And I thought about putting it on a tank, but unfortunately it's got audio too. And I'm afraid I'll mess up and like leave the audio on and people will be listening to me curse as I stub my toe and lose to board games. Very, very cool. Oh, and he sent a short video of his large 40-gallon tank. So we'll take a look at that. Looks really, really cool in there. Those stocking choices look very familiar. I also had the electric blue Ankara and the blood parrot. I hope your scenario ends better than mine did with the blood parrot. Okay, so we have another one here from John Lasco. John has sent pictures of his Fluval 2.6 gallon aquarium. This is sent a kind of a lengthy email, so let me take a second and look it over. Very nice letter, John. I appreciate the compliments. He also said he's gotten a lot of help from Rachel Leary and Corey from Aquarium Co-op. I'm pretty sure we have all the same viewers. You know, I probably have a very small segment of their viewers. He's got a Pecktec beta called Buster Blue. And he is pretty. Looks like a nice tank. Looks like you've got a lot of plants there in that little 2-gallon tank. I guess my biggest advice there is consider, look for one on sale, but try to find one of the Fluval Spec 5 gallons. You can actually take everything you've got in there, your filter and everything, take it out and put it straight into a 5-gallon tank and maybe give yourself some more room to work with. The 2-gallon ones fit really conveniently different places and probably okay for Buster there for most of his life. But I've really started liking I like the 5 gallons just a bit better. I think they're easier to keep up with and stuff. But I like what you've got going. I like that you took the initiative to put some plants in there. Your plants look healthy. They're kind of scattered all around. It'd look neat if they were kind of more like in like a together in a bunch. It looks like they're kind of, you know, sporadically placed. Like, I like to see a whole lot of the same plant like in one area, and then like a different leaf structure of another plant kind of overlapping it or kind of it cascading from one to another. But I'm not dissing your tank. I think it looks cool. Consider getting a bigger one though, because those small ones are just I have a hard time with the really small ones now. I tried to like them. I tried for so long to really like the small tanks. Like I really wanted to, but I kept coming back to the fact that they were just harder to keep. Especially if you've got a lot of other aquariums, and why not just do one, you know, a little bit bigger? Like that 2.5 to a 5 is not a big jump. Okay, I think I'm going to do one more today. Depending on the reaction to this video, if you really, really liked it, I can just turn around and do another one of these I do another one of these next week, or I can do another one this week if you want. If you really super loved it, let me know, and I'll go ahead and make the other half of this video. I'm going to do it either way. But if you really like it, I can do this as a weekly show. If not, then I'll do what I've got and I'll leave it at there. But here's the last one. It's from George Duke Cohen. And again, a pretty lengthy email. I'm going to read it through it real quick. All right, so George sent me a picture of 2 aquariums. The first one is a 40-liter tank. How many gallons is 40 liters? It's 10.57 gallon tank. And the second one is a 60-liter tank, which I'm guessing is about 15-gallon tank. I'm so good at math. So the first one's one of those kind of roundish tanks. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what plant that is. Some sort of like one of those wart plants, like a pennywort or moneywort or something like that. And the grassy little, sort of the grassy, is that dwarf hairgrass maybe at the bottom? And a little sponge filter. That's a cute little tank. I think it's neat. I can't tell if it's completely round. It looks like it's completely round. I can't tell if it's completely round or a bow front and it's flat. If it's flat in the back, I would put a black background on there, and that sponge filter will just disappear into the aquarium. I love the different shapes of leaves that you have in there. It would be neat to kind of include. It'd be neat to kind of include something long and thick, like maybe Java fern or something like that in there. That's a nice kind of inexpensive plant that you could get a mat of and just kind of stick it behind that pump or over on the left side. I think that would look really nice in there. All right, and the next tank. Oh, the next tank's really, really pretty. I love the ram that you have in there. Maybe want to take a razor blade and pull the sticker off the side. I would pull that sticker off. Unless that's there for a reason. Real dramatic light with the light kind of coming down right there in the front. Cool Anubias. See, now you've kind of done in this tank what I was suggesting in the other tank, where you've got the big, some wide leaf Java moss or Java fern, a lot of different leaf textures and structures. You've got some Anubias kind of creeping in there too. Yeah, if that Java ends up growing really well, once you transplant a little bit and put it in the other tank too, I think it'll help it some. Really, really neat fish. Neat fish. That's a nicely stocked 15-gallon tank, and I like the way you've got your plants kind of on this pedestal in the back. So you've got this open swimming space right in the front, and that's cool because it's what's really neat to do with the aquascape is to kind of make if you can, it's not always possible depending on the depth of your tank or whatever, but if you can make like a stage, a place to come out, and then when you feed your fish, you got this area for them to play in out front, but they've got a lot of hiding spaces in the back. They'll come play up in the front where you are, where you can watch them, so long as they have a really quick place to duck and hide when it's time to hide. And I think you've done a great job with that. Looks really neat in there. And that's all I got for you today. I'll be back with some more. I've got even more people that wrote me on Facebook. I'll probably start with them next time so I don't forget them. I was kind of overwhelmed by the response from this, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I had cut it off before you got a chance to see it. If people really like this, I'll keep doing it. I'll do it more and more. I had a different plan for how I was going to do this. This is actually what you're seeing now is something I came to. I've been playing with OBS for live streams, and I've got. I planned on doing this sort of like in a live stream kind of way, but I was worried that the quality of it wouldn't look as good. I might do some experimental ones, like I might do a live stream and kind of continue this on and get to the people I hadn't gotten to yet and try it that way and kind of see, but I wanted to definitely compare it and kind of see what works better. We're aquascaping a spec 5-gallon. I've got my friend James from Fish Room Fever. He came over to my house, my first guest in, well, a long, long time. Came over to my place and we scaped a tank together And he took it back home, and you can watch it flourish over there. I finally understand what my grandparents always said were, about grandchildren, where they come over, have a good time, and then you send them back with the parents. That's sort of the way I feel about this spec. So I gave him a spec. He brought over everything else, and we put it all together and made a really cool looking tank. He did a great job, and I just kind of made comments as we went along, mostly. That's coming up this Sunday. Can't wait to see you there. Until next time, follow your bliss, keep a clean tank, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. You guys really seem to like it, and I like. My name is Sasha, and my friend is Jocelyn. Sweetwater Girls. Okay. And I think the 9-gallon spec will the first one is from Wisdom. What's that? Okay, I'm